Hi, welcome to Mondays with Melissa. When people come in to talk about trusts, we're often talking about revocable trusts versus irrevocable trusts, and many people don't understand the difference. A revocable trust is a trust that's used primarily to avoid probate. So assets are transferred into the name of the trust, and when the person passes away, the assets pass to the beneficiaries without having to go through the process of probate. The assets that are transferred to the trust are in the name of the trust, but the individual who creates the trust still has full access to those assets as if they're their own. An irrevocable trust is a trust that's used primarily for asset protection purposes, for long-term care, for Medicaid planning. In that case, the assets are transferred into the name of the trust, and the person who creates the trust no longer has access to the principal. So the trusts are treated very differently, and it's really important to know what trust you need and which one is going to work the best for you. Unfortunately, we often see people come in with trusts and they've been in existence for 10 or 15 years, and they feel confident that their assets are protected for long-term care purposes, and unfortunately the trust is revocable. So we have to let the client know this trust is not good for the purposes of asset protection, and we're going to start over with an irrevocable trust, which many of you know from our prior conversations that there's a 5-year look back for nursing home Medicaid. So essentially, we're starting the 5 years all over again by funding an irrevocable trust. So it is more important than ever to look at your trust, to see what type of trust it is, and have us look at it. There's no harm in having a second set of eyes look at the document and determine whether or not it's revocable or irrevocable. Another thing that you must make sure of when it comes to both revocable and irrevocable trusts are that they're funded. So many times people will come in with a trust document, and I'll look at their bank statements and their deed, and I'll see that absolutely nothing is actually in the name of the trust, because the trust was created and it was executed, so it exists, but the actual the steps taken to actually put the items into the trust was not completed. And that happens so often. So it's very important to make sure that you have the right trust in place and that your trusts are funded so that you get the most protection possible, whether it's probate related or it's long-term care Medicaid related. I hope that this was a very helpful conversation, and if you have any questions about it, please put them in the comments. I'd be happy to answer them, and we'll see you next week.